Hello mouses! It's been a few days, so we're going to try and cover as much as I can. It will mean some things are going over a bit quick, but never mind, I've always got the links in the description bar so that you can have a look at more information on each topic as I talk about it. So you're not going to find that you haven't got all your news, despite the fact that no one is actually using the show as their main news source. Why would you? There's so much of the internet that can do that for you. But let's have a look at what's been going on. Okay, first of all, if I sound like I'm a bit out of breath, it's due to the fact that I've got an ear, nose and throat infection, which is why I may also sound quite weird, because I'm actually not able to hear properly at the moment. I've got an infection in the ears, and as a result, I don't hear whether I'm too loud or too soft. It could be either way. First things first, the Marriage Same-Sex Couples Bill has gone through another day in the House of Lords. We've got some good arguments for gay marriage from the House of Lords. I've been campaigning with that myself, sending out loads of emails trying to get the Lords to back this. I'm also trying to get them to reintroduce the trans amendments to the bill so that we can actually get some semblance of equality for trans people. We haven't got it at the moment, and it does appear to be that the civil service is really pushing to keep trans people down. I don't like this. I want to know who's doing it. I'm going to try and campaign to get those people re-educated, because I think it would be very good if we didn't have everyone who's actually in the background fighting against us and getting the people that are in the foreground to fight their battles for them. I think it's cowardly, I think it's wrong, and I think the civil service should be working for the country, not for its own ideas. But perhaps that's an argument for another day. At the moment, gay marriage is still going forward in Britain. This is a good thing, and it looks like we may actually get equality. Speaking of equality, let's have a look at the Defence of Marriage Act over in America. The Supreme Court has now ruled that the Defence of Marriage Act is not right, it's not good, and it's not constitutional. So we've got some semblance of equality back in America. It means that Proposition 8 in California didn't have to be looked at as much. It means that gay marriage is back on the table for everyone who's got a gay marriage in America. If you haven't, then you've got to go to certain states. There's only 12 of them from what I can remember who've actually said, yes, gay marriage is fine. The rest are going, no. Well, those ones haven't changed. The ones that had gay marriage but the Defence of Marriage Act wiped it out, they've got it back now. This is a good thing. And funnily enough, it all comes from taxes. A tax law case is what got to the Supreme Court, and they said, yes, this is not right. This is not constitutional. You're not treating everyone fairly. So that's how it got round it. It's not going against the Act itself. The Act couldn't be assailed from just one person going in and going, no, this is not right. But they got it on tax the same way they got Capone, and that's pretty good from my book. Any way you can defeat this kind of inequality is fine by me. As long as it's legal. You can't go off and just cut people's legs off or anything like that. That's not going to be good. But if you can fight it legally, then fight it you should. Speaking of taxes, we've got some changes over in Britain. I know I'm jumping back and forward. We're trying to keep this quick. The spending review has come out, and it looks like Ed Balls, the Shadow Chancellor, is not having a good time, because he's basically now saying that the government is spending too much, but Labour would spend more, which is not exactly going to help him at the election. So basically the Conservatives' new campaign slogan looks like it's going to be, the economy's getting back on track, don't let Labour spoil it. But here's the thing. We've got this weird thing now where job seekers are going to have to go in and give their CV in and sign up for online job searching and search and apply for jobs before they can get job seekers allowance. I'm not sure about this myself. I can see arguments for it and I can see arguments against it. I'm currently arguments against this particular thing. I think that there are a lot of people who do abuse the job seekers allowance, but at the same time it's a very worthwhile benefit. And I have been on it myself several times. When I was illegally fired from the civil service and had to look for new work, I was on that benefit. I was on that for over a year while I was fighting a case against the civil service, which meant, unfortunately, I had this thing hanging over me where I couldn't get a reference from my former employer because I was currently suing them. And yeah, they're supposed to be able to give a reference, but you know that it's not going to be a good one. It's going to be a blank template thing without any information on it saying, yes, this person worked for us. So I know from first-hand experience that the job seekers allowance is very useful. And I don't agree with making all these job seekers say, right, so I've got to apply for work and pay all my bills, despite the fact that I've got no income, but I've got to pay my bills until you've said that I've applied enough to warrant a benefit that if I've already been working, I've been paying into. I don't like that. I don't think that all of this new stuff to just beat on poor people is not... It's not the best way to do it. Let's put it that way. I think there could have been a better way of dealing with people who don't actually want to work. We could have dealt with them another way. But here's the interesting thing. Now we're also not going to be paying winter fuel allowance to anyone who lives in a country that's got a hotter winter than Britain. This is an interesting point because we have a lot of older expatriates who live in Spain and France and Gibraltar and places like that. Places that are actually quite warm. And they've been claiming winter fuel allowance. Some of them quite a lot of winter fuel allowance, especially Spain. We're spending millions over in Spain on this allowance. So yeah, I can see why this has happened and why we're now cutting it back to places where it's actually a bit cold in winter and you might actually have to put the heating on. So I can see why that is, but the question is, why have we been paying this anyway? Because surely the winter fuel allowance was for when it's cold. And if these places aren't cold, why are people claiming it? Because they can. They shouldn't have been able to in the first place. That would have been my view, but hey, the past is past. We do what we can to make it right from here on in. Okay, that's all I want to talk about today because it has been quite a long video from my account on here. It'll probably come a bit further down when I edit it, but never mind. So I'm just going to say thank you very much for watching. I know it's been back and forward, but at least we've covered everything I wanted to. So if you did like this, remember to click the like button, share it with your friends so that they can see what's been going on as well, and do subscribe for future videos because there will be more in the future. But until next time, I've been Zoe Kirk-Robinson. You've been watching the Knob Mouse Show, and I'll see you tomorrow. First things first, the gay rights... First things first, the marriage same-sex couples...